Hi everybody, this is Am from DIY Am. So this isn't my artwork, first of all. I wish it was, but it's not. I'm not normally this detailed. This, if you haven't seen these illustrations ever before, they come from, I think they're twins, Janet and Anne Graham Johnstone. I think I'm pronouncing it right, hopefully. I'll try to link some sort of information down below if I can. I think when I was a child, I got the Dean's Gift Book of fairy tales. I think there's also a Dean's Gift Book of nursery rhymes that they've also illustrated for. I'm not sure if one of the sisters illustrated more than the other or which style's whose, but I always found their stuff to be really charming and enchanting and beautiful, very detailed, as I said originally, and it just makes you want to read, which I thought would be perfect for today's video. So today I wanted to do bookmarks. This is something that was inspirational to me when I was younger and just kind of learning how to read. Anyways, I found some illustrations online that were really awesome. I don't unfortunately possess the Dean's Gift Book of fairy tales anymore. I think that my brother has that for his kids, but it was really beautiful. Kind of wish I still had it. Maybe I can purchase it again. I am an adult, so I can purchase things now, I suppose. It's just one of those things where it's like, do I have enough money to purchase something this beautiful? But anyways, I kind of wanted to show some beautiful inspirational drawings, and I thought that they'd be perfect. Slices of the illustrations would be perfect for bookmarks. So what I did was I just did a gradient from Photoshop, almost like a pastel-y kind of gradient on one side. Then I printed on the other side with these illustrations. I made sure I cut them down to a specific size. I want them to fit in the long holographic bags that I used in another video showing you how to laminate on one side. I mean, I could just laminate on one side, but I'm just going to show you, you can probably figure it out from that video, how to actually laminate. Anyways, but also I'm going to show you a few other methods with the bookmarks that I don't think I showed in that video. So this is worth watching, believe it or not. I'm going to get into making tassels and showing how to use a Crop-a-dile punch and how to put little eyelets in just to make your bookmark even sturdier. You don't have to make a tassel. They're really beautiful on their own, but I just kind of wanted to show you how to do the eyelet thing. I'm just going to say really quick, some of these are stories that I don't think I've seen some of these illustrations from. This one's from like a Beauty and the Beast one, so this is technically Belle. I don't think that they call her Belle in that particular thing. This is before Beauty and the Beast even came out. I actually had this book when I was like really young. I just loved this picture. I love her dress. There's little birds, and I think there's like a little bird over here. Yeah, right here. And then there's like a little bunny and stuff like that. I just wanted to get those guys in the shot. I thought that was really fun. And then this one's from Puss in Boots. This actually looks a lot like my old cat that I used to have. My mom used to love these illustrations. She actually color printed these, which you can do. You can always scan these things if you've got these kind of books, or if you see beautiful illustrations, you don't want to ruin the actual book itself. Maybe it's well kept. Some people, if they're into junk journaling, they don't mind just cutting up the actual book itself, especially if it's already been ripped or destroyed in some way, shape, or form, and they just want to save certain parts of the page that's still good. But I personally want to try to conserve books as much as I personally can, so I'd prefer to get something off the internet that's similar, or scan the actual thing itself and then make a bookmark that way. So anyways, these are from the internet. So this is like a Puss in Boots scene, and I just love the castle was in there, the horse was in there, these fairies in there. There's like more fairies in the image on the side, and then obviously Puss in Boots, and you can see the little boots and stuff he's got. It's so cute. So that's Puss in Boots. This is Cinderella. So there is the prince, I guess, dancing with her over here off to the side, but again, I absolutely thought her dress was stunning, absolutely beautiful. I also love the chandelier in here, and I just think it's kind of funny there's gossiping women and stuff in the background. I also love this fan that she's holding. A really cool shot, I feel. So I kind of cropped that down to look like a bookmark there in this particular part. This one was already kind of almost bookmarky to begin with from when I saw it and when I found it. I don't know what this is from, some sort of fairy, but I just thought she was pretty. I love the purple background. I thought it was really nice and soft and pretty. I think this one's from Peter Pan. It had some sort of words on the side, but I just sort of cropped it so that you sort of see that this is watercolor, I think. But yeah, I just absolutely love her dress and the way it flows and just the energy of the line work. I think that this is absolutely gorgeous too. I just love how it looks like the parchment paper is showing. So I think this is Wendy's mom, as far as I know, from Peter Pan, probably trying to drop the curtain, but I just love her. I guess it's a nightgown or something. I don't think it's a dress. And then I absolutely love this because I love cat stuff, as you can see, or animal stuff. I think that the dress is super cute. I love fashion, what can I say? And it's very elaborate fashion, which I think is really pretty. Also the chair, super fancy. This cat is basically sitting at a really fancy feast table, I think with her owner. I don't know. I think this is from a story called The White Cat. But yeah, it's really pretty. There were some words up here. I just took a clone tool in Photoshop and just cloned the paper so that you still have this texture. I don't know if you can see the texture at all because it's a little hard to see, but it's not too bad. I really like the paper texture, but I felt like this would be a little easier to punch a hole here when making bookmarks. I mean, I could have left the words, but I just felt like, let's just have a clean slate here and then just punch a little hole for the bookmark. So I thought that that'd be really pretty. And I thought that this would be kind of nice on the other side. I have some cool stamps that I might stamp stuff on the bookmark before I actually laminate them. So anyways, guys, I wanted to show you that. Also, if you want to cut stuff like this down, so as I said, I photoshopped, cropped things, and tried to make everything the exact same size. And then I sized it on the paper, this 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and then just printed it up. That's a very, very, very loose translation of what I did. So what you can do is you can actually take a ruler and an X-Acto knife and cut it on something like this cutting mat, or you can always, what I've been doing too is using some sort of thing to slice everything as well. So that also helps. Some people use a guillotine or guillotine. I've heard it both ways, so I don't know which way's the actual pronunciation, but maybe neither one. I don't know. But yeah, people have used, I'm going to call it a guillotine, maybe butcher the the actual pronunciation anyways. People will use like a guillotine sometimes to chop papers and stuff down as well. You could use that if you have that. I personally don't have one here. I've used them in the studio when I was learning fine arts and stuff, but I find them a little dangerous and scary, and they're just really big and clunky, and it's hard for me to use that in, I have like a condo, so it's a small setting. So that's why I tend to use things that are a little smaller in size. Anyways, I'm just going to cut these down. Okay, I basically sliced everything up. I used the trimmer, which if you have watched this channel before, you know that I have a complicated relationship with this trimmer. I feel like the blade is quite dull on it. It's not as sharp as it once used to be. Probably need to change out the blade on it. Anyways, I used the trimmer, and sometimes I find that there's fibers that come off the side of the paper, so I will just trim them with scissors vast majority of the time. Let's do a slight, as gentle as possible, just trim off the little bit of fibers that I find. But for a vast majority of the time, I find things turn out quite straight with it. That's why I tend to use it a lot more. Sometimes if I use the ruler and the X-Acto knife method, I find it's not as good sometimes. Sometimes it's actually fine, but I find sometimes I have to go through quite a few times, and I don't have enough pressure sometimes, and sometimes it screws something up along the way. Or maybe the blade isn't great on this as well, or maybe I'm just not using it right. But yeah, I sometimes prefer the trimmer method. So that's just my personal thing. So what I wanted to show you guys was, I've already done it on here, but I'm just rounding the edges on these. You don't have to necessarily do this. I just find that I might round the edges after I laminate. And you can even leave it pointy if you want to, but I think it looks a little bit more neat and professional when you round them prior to lamination. But yeah, I just wanted to show you the opposite sides. It turned out pretty and rainbowy. The ones that were further down, they kind of have this really cool gradient effect, which I think is cool. This one looks almost like a watermelon, but yeah, this pink and blue is quite nice too. I think that they turned out really pretty. A lot of them up top look like the same kind of rainbow gradient, and I think they're quite pretty as well. So that's on the other side. I'm going to see if I can find my bookmark stamps that I really enjoy using. Okay, so this is the bookmark stamps that I tend to use sometimes when I just want to make some really cute, quick bookmarks for people. I pretty much used every single one of these stamps as far as I know, except for maybe the occasional few. I find they're really, really cute. These are nice to go on bookmarks because they're kind of longer. What I could technically do is I could stamp something on this part. I don't really want to because I'm going to put an eyelet there, so I'm not going to actually stamp there. But what I might do is stamp on the other side. I don't think I'm going to use the girls or anything like that here, but I might just use some of the fun little quotes and things. So I got my archival ink out, scrap piece of paper. I'm just gonna move some of these guys aside because I don't want to get them too messy. If you guys saw my previous videos at all, you've seen that with archival ink, it's a good idea to specifically use this to clean them off. Hand sanitizer. It's like a gel version. And then I have a little cloth that I like to clean things off with. Clean the stamps and the acrylic plate that I have as well. Okay, I think they're all really cute sentiments. Every page is a new adventure. I think that one's a really cute one. I'm just gonna put that down there. Of course, I always get some on me. It's the joys of stamping sometimes. I always like to try to wipe this down a little bit too if I see I got something on there. This gives it a nice little handmade touch too. Okay, and I'm probably just going to go over this with a small pen. It's not too bad. It's not the best, but it's not too bad. I'm going to do the Relax, Enjoy, Adventure, Discover, the Read one, because I think that one's really cool. Makes sense for Belle, at least for the Disney version of Belle. So it's a little off, but it's not that big of a deal. Should have centered it a little bit better, but yeah, that's okay. I honestly think that the sentiment works with a lot of these guys. Okay, it looks a little off still, but it's not too bad. That one looks nice. I think that one looks a little bit more centered. I'm gonna go with the watermelon one, even though it's not actually a watermelon. Okay, so I'm gonna switch out the sentiment here. I'm gonna do some stories stay with us forever. Oh, see if I can line it up again. I sure hope I can. I don't like ghost stamped images. Oh yeah, I think I did mostly okay. I'm just gonna fix up this little end here, but it's not too bad. So yeah, I'll just do that with a thin permanent marker. Something like this guy, the Staedtler pigment liner. We got one more to go here. I'm gonna do so many books, so little time. I'm sure a lot of people that love reading feel the same way. Also needs to be fixed slightly, but it's not that big of a deal. Okay, I'm just going to show you guys what I would do to slightly fix this. So this is like a 0.05, so it's very thin. I don't do the best job because I'm not the best with fonts, but it's not terrible. It looks a little bit better than it did. Anyways, I'm gonna just fix up a lot of these guys. Then I'll show you guys the process of lamination. Okay, so I fixed up a lot of the words so they look a little bit more professional. Still hand done, but still professional. But yeah, I think that they look really pretty. So obviously you can leave it as is, just on cardstock paper if you want. But I personally like to protect mine and take it a step further just to make it look more professional as well. I have shown you guys this thermal laminating pouches in another video. I'll link that above in case you want to see that, but it shows you how to laminate on one side. If you haven't seen that yet, it's a good one. It gives you another idea for bookmarks if you want to just leave a side blank. And I just turned this on, but this is my laminator, so I'm just waiting for the green light to come on to make sure that it's warm so we can do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a pouch out. So the reason I cut it in advance, I mean, you can technically cut it afterwards, especially if you're doing like the one-sided lamination techniques. I like to have a bit of a lamination border surrounding the bookmarks and then cut that. And then I'm going to cut the corners again so that it's not sharp and it doesn't hurt anybody. So I'm just going to try to line things up as best as I can. Oh, I think this laminator is already on. I'm going to try to give it some room here to breathe. As I said, I want it to have a bit so I don't cut it right to the actual image itself. I want to have a little bit of room. And it's going to be a little delicate, this process. Might be a little crowded here, to be honest. Anyways, I'm going to try to leave a little bit of room for each thing if I can here, as much as I can. Okay, so now this is already on, as I said. I'm just going to delicately put this through now. Try to line up things as best as I can. Oh no, try to adjust that a little bit. Difficult to keep things together. Just sort of let the machine do its thing. Hold this as much as you can here. Hopefully nothing overlaps anything. I don't really love that this shifted slightly, but I think this is what I have to work with now. Okay. Ooh, still quite piping hot. Anyways, but this is how that turned out. I'm just going to turn this off because it's very hot. I don't recommend putting it through again. I think the first time should be good enough. But that's what it looks like right now. So I'm going to chop this up again and probably do it with the trimmer as much as I can. I'll cut up stuff if it doesn't go through because sometimes the trimmer doesn't fully go through. It's going to be quite thick now. So I'm going to try to chop it up to the best of my ability, and then I'm going to corner punch everything just so that you don't cut yourself on the actual lamination plastic itself, because it can be quite sharp when it's in a pointy shape. I'll just do that. Okay, so some of them turned out better than others. This one actually turned out pretty good. As you can see, the plastic on the edge, it sort of seals it in. It looks quite nice. So yeah, some of them turned out pretty good. This one, unfortunately, it got very close to the edge. It's still sealed in though. It's not escaping easily from what I can see. I tried to trim off some stuff with the scissors. It was just too close to some of the other images. But yeah, most of them turned out pretty okay. There's the occasional one where this one was a little bit too angled. These guys were kind of close together, so there's a bit of an angle here, but it's still sealed pretty well. I just left a couple of these sharp so I can just show you at least two and make things look a lot more professional. It looks a little raw here, so I'm just gonna trim that. It's a little close to the edge here, I guess. Stuff happens. Trim that a little bit better. Okay, so yeah, you can totally leave this like this, but I'm gonna bring out my Crop-a-dile and show you how to make an eyelet. So you can weave some yarn through it. I'm just gonna show you next. This is my Crop-a-dile from We Are Memory Keepers. I kept this. I figured someday I'll be doing something with this, because sometimes they have instructions on the back. I'll open this up just to show you. and it's a nice, oh, there's also instructions inside here, but it's hole punch and eyelet thing all in one. So I know that this is locked right now. I've locked it in place. So there's like a button thing. It looks like a little lock right here. So what you do to unlock it is you press that down, and then to lock it back into place. See how, so this looks like it's unlocked, this little lock symbol, and this one looks like it's locked. So what you do is you squeeze it down and you push that down, and then that locks things into place. Okay, just in case you want to put it back in its box. So now it's unlocked. I just unlocked it. So it shows the size of holes over here, right? So this is like a smaller hole. So this is, so I guess that's about the size of the hole there. It doesn't even say what size it is. It says inch here. It's probably like an inch down. Oh, it's 1/8 of an inch, this hole. And then this guy is 3/16 of an inch, this hole. So it's a bigger hole. So what I want to do, I'm basically going to keep it on this here. It says D here. So I want this to remain here, but if I'm going to do a large hole, I want to keep it on, I think it's number 4. Is this number 4? Yeah, number 4 is this one. So you basically just sort of turn things. So this is what number 4 looks like. Number 2 is probably the better one to use if you're doing like the smaller hole, but I'm going to do number 4. So I'm just going to sort of put that into place there. Okay, so I'm going to take one of these guys. Okay, as I said, I wanted a larger hole. So this seems to be the larger hole, and I kind of want it, I don't want it too low. I want it maybe around here, so you can sort of see. And then I'm just going to squeeze that, and it punches that hole. Okay, so then we have all these different choices here for eyelets. Let's see what looks kind of the best. I'm going to do a white eyelet just for the white cat. So what you do is this part right here that says D, the longer part here, that's going to go through this hole on this almost like cleaner side. Okay, so this side has to be punched down. So I'm going to put that through there. And so that side here, I'm just going to punch it down to the best of my ability. And there you go. And there's a hole there, but it looks quite nice and professional. So I'm going to do something similar to all these guys. I'll be right back, and then I'm going to show you how to make a tassel. So I finished all these guys, put their little eyelets in. Some of them, I did them a little deeper than others, depending on their image and where I wanted to put them. Some of them are a little off center, like these guys. But anyways, that's okay. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's just not my perfectionism shining through as usual. But yeah, these guys, they turned out okay. I sort of tried to match things a little bit with some colors that are happening in here to bring things out a little bit more. So this, I mean, I wish that there was more gold. I just did white for a lot of these guys here because there's a lot of white happening in this. Obviously there's some white happening in here too, but I felt like this almost like too much white. I could have done this with the white one too, but I just did a little silver one. These guys probably would have been fine with silver. I felt like these guys would have really benefited from more like a gold one. This is almost like a steampunky gold, like almost like a brownier gold. Anyways, so I finished that. Some of them look better than others on the back. Right, it's really difficult to clamp down. I find with the Crop-a-dile, sometimes if you have hand issues or if you have arthritis or something along those lines, it's just a tool that might help out a little bit with obviously eyelets and stuff like that, but you have to really squeeze it quite hard in order to get a less smashed down look to it. I think the one that looked the best probably was this one here. It still looks a little smashed down. It's not perfect at all, but yeah, you really have to sort of clamp it down as much as you can. Sometimes there are things that can happen that kind of screw it up a little bit, but again, it's fine. I think it looks quite nice, and it's enough to weave something through it. They're big enough for that. Okay, so the next step is I'm going to show you how to do the tassels. This part of the video is quite highly requested from a friend of mine. She kind of wanted to do this as a craft with her daughter. She kept asking how I did my tassels for my bookmarks because I've given her some bookmarks in the past, and I was like, I don't know, I don't remember. Like, watch some videos, watched a few videos and picked up my favorite methods. So I'm just gonna put these guys aside. The stuff I got for tassels, I basically got some yarn from the dollar store. This is just from Dollarama, so this is $4 each. I just got all different colors so that I can sort of match the tassels with some of the colors here, the illustrations. Anyways, I have some that are pre-opened already as well. I just wanted to show you what it looked like before, but yeah, so I have some that are already opened up. I think it's this one here. I used all of this because this is quite a nice color already, but yeah, I kind of wanted to get a variation of colors for all the different types of illustrations I have. So I'm going to show you guys how to do those next. Okay, so I'm going to try to do one of the tassels on camera. I'll try to do it for this guy. I sort of got this because it sort of represents the night sky for me. I know it's not the exact same color or anything, but I just thought it would look really pretty against it because it's such a nice contrast. It's such a light image because of the white nightgown. I just thought it'd be really, really pretty to have a nice dark blue. So this is a nice yarn. You can use twine, you can use all sorts of different types of thinner materials. They would be fine for tassels. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking some cardstock. You can take something thicker than this too if you want, but it's like a long piece. So this is going to be the length of your tassel around there. You're going to cut it off a little bit more though too. So I just wanted it to be semi-long. What you're going to do, it depends on how thick you want your tassel to be. I'm going to try to make this kind of long. So this is the top part of your tassel, and this is going to be the bottom part of your tassel. Actually, I'm going to do it over here because it's a little bit easier to wind, I think. So I'm just going to start off like this. I don't know if you've ever made a pom-pom, but it's kind of similar method, I think. And just sort of wind this around. Try not to do it too tight. Just wind it up to your desired thickness. I think I'm just going to stop here. And then what you do is you kind of leave a little bit of length on here. Okay, so just like that. And then what you do, I'm going to do a long one. I saw somebody doing a little bit of a shorter one, but anyways, I want to do not too long though. This is a little too long, I feel. It's going to be a little longer, I think. I'm just going to cut off about this much. Okay, so you've got this loop situation happening here. This is what's going to go through here, this little loop here. So try to keep that out. So you put this under here. So this is the top part of your, actually, I think she did a little more centered when I was watching some video. Top part of your tassel. So you just do it real tight, and then you do another knot. Well, at least I like to do another knot if you can. Like that, okay? I'm gonna just sort of slip this guy off so that you can sort of see this is the top part right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch this part here with my fingers, okay? I'm just going to go around this a bunch of times. Okay, I'm going to trim off this bit here. Just open things up a bit. Okay, so yeah, if you find a longer piece that you're going to trim off a bit, just do that. Take a random piece that looks kind of long that you're probably going to end up trimming anyways. And you just sort of tie. It's a little bit hard to do sometimes here. There you go, you got a bit of a knot here. Okay, you can tie it a little bit again here. Okay. Now, unfortunately, I have a few little pieces here that I didn't really want. They're really, really short. I'm just going to snip those. Okay. You can't really see the knot, I find, with the thicker material here. You can, if you're doing like a thinner twine, I might be able to see it a little bit more. Anyways, you're going to have a few short pieces here and there. But what I like to do is to trim to the best of my ability with some very sharp scissors. And these are embroidery scissors, so they should cut them pretty nicely, especially because they're sharp ones. I use these scissors for pretty much everything. Probably shouldn't. Anyways, you just trim it like that, and then there you go. You've got a little tassel. You may want to fluff that up a bit here. But that's pretty much that. So you got this nice little tassel here. Try to put this through, just weave it through. Sometimes it's hard to do because it's a little easier to do if you've got a larger hole. You might want to twist it a bit just so that you can get it through. Oh my goodness. There you go. Okay, and then you take the loop and you put the whole tassel right through the loop. And it just sort of ties itself, right? And there you go, guys. You have a tassel, and then you can make this as long or as short as you want. I kind of wanted it to be long and dangle down. What do you think? I think it looks quite nice. That's just me. It's almost like a practice in eyeing things. They may not look perfect in the end. They may not look the best. This is definitely going to require some practice. But yeah, so just sort of fluff that in there. There you go. There's one bookmark done. So I'm going to do the rest kind of the same way, and then I'll show you guys how they look in the end. So here's the finished bookmarks. So yeah, some of the tassels are hanging down quite long. So again, you can always make them a little shorter, but yeah, I really like how they turned out. I did a lot of white ones. I felt like these are very light, delicate designs. A lot of them had some white or light colors in them. I feel like the yellow was almost like too bright for some of these designs. If there was like a lighter yellow, I think I would have used them for at least these two. I really like this. I think this turned out quite nice. This also looks really nice. It feels like its tail or something, which I kind of think is fun to play with, right? It's like a little floofy tail. This one I kind of went back and forth with because there's so many different colors in this. I kind of wanted it to be a purple so that this kind of came out a little bit more because yellow and purple are kind of complementary colors. I also almost did like a red because there's like a nice deep red, but I also felt like there's like a lot of pink in her dress. There's a little bit of blue too, which I also contemplated doing. Even contemplated just white as well, but I was like, I already did too many white tassels here, so I did this nice light pink. I almost did a deeper pink, but there's some nice little roses and things. I don't know if you can see that. Very pink little roses and little pink feathers in her hair. Anyways, I thought that was quite pretty and delicate. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's my tutorial on the bookmarks. I kind of wanted to make sure that they fit in this little holographic bag that I have. Oh, are they not going to fit? No. Oh, they might not fit. Oh, shoot. That means I'm going to have to make a little envelope or something for them because I think they're a little too wide. Yeah, I think they're all like that. Oh, there we go. I tried to make them a little smaller, but I guess I wasn't counting for this part. It's going to be a tight squeeze in here. Can I just stick that in here? Yep. Okay, so some of them will go in, but it's a very, very tight squeeze. So you could always get something like this for putting your bookmarks in if you'd like, but I would say maybe make them a little thinner than I did. Just for reference, I made them on the computer, so I'm gonna do inches here, about 2 inches across, and I think it was 7 inches down. Oh, it's shorter than 7 inches. Okay, maybe 6 3/4. So that's about the size of them. And then across, it's a little over 2 inches. So that's why they might be a little hard to get in here. But if you happen to make them a little thinner, they might be able to go in there. Okay, they're a great book gift if you want to gift them with gift cards for like a bookstore, or even with Cool Book or something like that. They're really, really fun to make, and with just a few things, which is kind of nice. You don't have to go as elaborate as I went. I just wanted to show people if they want to go this elaborate, they can, and how to do that. But yeah, I think that they turned out really pretty on the back too. All around, just really, really pretty, really fun to make. So this is pretty much that, and hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Have fun crafting and have fun making bookmarks. Hopefully you have a really fun and awesome day. All right, take care guys. Have a good one. Bye.